Hey there, guys and gals, hepcats, cool kittens, friends and foes. Welcome to Back of the Cereal Box, my brand new podcast here on YouTube and Facebook. And I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pica. You can call me Johnny. And what is Back of the Cereal Box? Well, this is a brand new podcast where we get together, you and I, and we talk about cool geek pop culture over a big bowl of cereal. And this morning, we're going to be eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch, in my opinion, the greatest breakfast cereal ever made. And who am I? Well, you see it on the screen. I am the prophet of pop culture. Now, that is a nickname that was given to me when I was the host and producer of Tales from the Geek on comicspriceguide.com. I did 117 consecutive episodes of that show with Dee Barty and Jesse Lee and Justin Smith. And because my predictions about pop culture came true so often, they gave me that title, that label, and I'm sticking to it. So, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, we're going to talk about stuff I've discovered this week, stuff that I've gotten turned on to this week, and we'll do some movie reviews and some TV reviews and even talk about comics and toys, and then we'll talk with you guys. We're interactive, so you can actually post comments, and I'll respond, and if you would like to be a surprise co-host, a guest on air, post a comment, and maybe we can make that happen. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I believe this is the best cereal ever invented. Now, I didn't have this as a kid. This is Saturday morning, and they have Cinnamon Toast Crunch on when I was a kid, but every Saturday morning, we would sit at the breakfast table, or actually on the couch in the living room, eating our cereal, watching Saturday morning cartoons. And, you know, we don't have Saturday morning cartoons like we used to when I was a kid. Now we have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Channel and you know, Cartoon Channel, Cartoon Network, Boomerang, all of that. So we don't have that must-see appointment TV on Saturday morning anymore. I kind of miss that. Don't you guys? And do you remember when we were kids, before the internet, before we had iPhones and iPads, our iPhones, our iPads, instead of staring into a screen, was the back of the cereal box. You guys remember on the back of the cereal box when we were kids, it had games and stories and riddles and puzzles. Post cereals even had records, and I'm trying to track down some of those back of the cereal box records because I had those when I was a kid. Did you? I remember, I want to say my first time I ever heard ABBA was on a record that came on the back of a cereal box. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to do some research. So this morning, we're going to be watching, after the show, me and the family are going to sit down with the new relaunch of Animaniacs. My children have never seen Animaniacs. And we're going to sit down this morning over a bowl of cereal and breakfast and watch Animaniacs. Have you guys seen Animaniacs yet? The new Animaniacs? It just launched yesterday on Hulu. We're so excited. And so we're going to do that. Now, besides leaving comments, you can also tip your host. PayPal at johnnydelarocca.or@yahoo.com. Johnny Delarocca is my nickname, my character name, given to me by a producer, and it became a character that I performed. So let's talk movies. We're going to talk about stuff that I discovered this week. This show is about my weekly discoveries. And I didn't have a chance to get the graphic, but there's a movie called Jingle Jangle with Keenan Peele, or Key, not Peele. The Key of Key and Peele, or Peele and Key, whatever. And Forrest Whitaker, and it's a musical, and it's a musical that feels like, your favorite old blanket that you like to wrap up in, because it borrows from Wizard of Oz, it borrows from Willy Wonka, it borrows from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It borrows from the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. It borrows from The Greatest Showman. It borrows from Hamilton. It borrows from Mary Poppins. I mean, it's got all those feelings that it hits all of those trope notes. Okay, and that it's one of those movies that you just love because it feels so familiar, and it is a musical, and it's got a very Greatest Showman meets Hamilton feeling. It's set in Edwardian era, bright colors, which I love. It's kind of Crayola colors, and I love that. I'm also drinking this morning ice water, kiwi strawberry. So I see some viewers in. Guys, please post a comment. Let me know you're here, because we're using StreamYard, and it doesn't always tell me who is watching. So if you're watching, post a comment. Let me know. Feel free to ask a question too. So, got to talk about the big piece this week. I'm talking about The Mandalorian. So this is a graphic from Mandalorian Chapter 11, but this week we had Chapter 12, and I'm just going to give you my 2-minute thoughts about Mandalorian Chapter 12. First of all, last week, Chapter 11, seeing Bo-Katan from the Clone Wars, was epic. This week, Mando goes back to Navarro. Din Djarin goes back to Navarro and hooks up with Greef Karga and Cara Dune. And can I just say that Cara Dune is absolutely badass and super hot. The actress that plays her, Gina Carafano, I think is how you pronounce that. She's gained a little bit of weight since season 1. She's gotten a little bit bigger. She's definitely gained some mass in her arms. But at the same time, she's gained more femininity. It's really strange. She's gotten stronger and tougher and bigger, but at the same time, she's much more feminine, and I love that. I'm in love with Cara Dune. And this episode, without giving you a spoiler, there is a revelation rather about Cara Dune at the end of the episode that really makes you fall in love with her. One of the problems I had, and I was talking with Jason Swank, the host of Rebel Force Radio, on text last night. Jason and I are old friends. And really, Cara Dune is a strong female character done right. because we not only is she just badass, but with this episode especially, there's an instant connection with her that makes us care about her with this revelation at the end of the episode. And this is a problem that the sequels have had, especially with Rey. There was no reason for me to care about the character of Rey. Now, I liked her a lot because, look, I'm a fan of strong female characters. I really am. Over here on my bookshelf, Star Wars Black Series, Hera from Rebels. I'm hunting down Ahsoka and Sabine Wren. Out of this new series, the Rebels characters, I saw Kanan Jarrus the other day. I saw Zeb. I'm really not interested in them. I'm only interested in the female characters. I've got Rey up here. I've got Leia. I didn't realize I've got 2 Darth Vaders. 2 Black Series Vaders. That's interesting. Anyway, I'm interested in the strong female characters. And this episode just made me love Cara Dune in a way that made me forget that I even want to see Mara Jade on this show. Next week, we'll see, hopefully, Sabine Wren with Ahsoka. We will see Ahsoka next week. Rosario Dawson will be playing Ahsoka. I'm super excited about that. What do you guys think about Mandalorian Season 2 so far? Post your comments. Let's talk about it. Because this show is all interactive with you. And I want to remind you that this is our first official episode. And if you like what you see, make sure you tip me, johnnydelarocca@yahoo.com. That money just goes to making the show better. And I realized I didn't even turn on the studio lights this morning. This is all natural light from my window. It looks pretty good, though. If you like this look, let me know. All right, so next on the agenda, we've got our Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We got our milk. We've talked about Mandalorian. I need to show you what I found this week. I'm so excited. So, 2 things. Great Escape. I found all 5 episodes of Smoke and Mirrors. Now, this is a comic book series that was published by a magician friend, John Armstrong. And he actually was here in Nashville last year at House of Cards. I got to, he was on stage. I was doing close-up. But this was a hard series to find when it came out in comic shops. It's from IDW. It came out, I want to say, maybe 5-6 years ago now. It's been a while. And I've never read it. I found the complete series. Now, I was super excited to find this right beside it. And that is all 6 episodes of High Roads. I have the first issue, and it's a World War II pulp action adventure with a Japanese samurai, a mini Hitler, and Nazi android zombies, a Captain America style hero, and of course a blonde bombshell. I read the first issue. I want to keep saying episode. I read the first issue and was hooked, and could never find the other 5 issues because it's from an indie creator called Cliffhanger, and I found it yesterday. I'm so excited about it, and super stoked. let's talk about brand new comics for a minute. There's only two that I really read this week. My list of new comics keeps getting smaller and smaller. Avengers. You guys know Star Wars movies and Avengers comics made me who I am today. And Avengers number 38. It is kind of a reset issue. It's a transition issue between Age of Khonshu and Age of Phoenix, which starts next week, I think. That issue comes out. Great interaction between Moon Knight and the Black Panther. And he actually offers, Moon Knight to rejoin the Avengers after the events of Age of Khonshu. And he turns him down. And I really wish he had accepted. The artwork on this has, been criticized by a lot of people. It's Mark Morales and Jason Keith, but I really love kind of this bold, just big, bold, almost kind of, I don't want to say blocky, but just strong art style. Nice surprise was a guest appearance by Iron Fist and Doctor Strange, along with Ghost Rider. It's not this issue that has a bunch of action. It's resetting the table. But there's some good character moments in there. Finally, the final issue of Moonshine. As a diesel punk fanatic, I love this series. It's about bootleggers and moonshiners during Prohibition who also happen to be werewolves. And according to the last page, this is the end of the series. It ends volume 4, which is called The Angel's Share. Now, I don't feel like it should be the end. I don't feel like there was really any resolution. But this is a great book. Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risi. If you've been watching or listening to any of my podcasts for any length of time, I've been a big fan of this series. I've got the individual issues and the trade paperbacks right here because I loved it that much. All right, so speaking of Moon Knight, were we? Yes, we were. He was in Avengers 38. Found this week. Walgreens exclusive, the all-white Moon Knight, and it comes with the alternate Black Mask hood. Now, I already have a Moon Knight figure up with my Avengers, but I don't have I have the black and white. This costume right here. I have that figure, but when I saw the all-white, I had to grab it. As a Moon Knight fan, I love Moon Knight. And we're going to talk more about him in a minute. And then I found this at Ollie's. $5 at Ollie's. Do you guys have an Ollie's in your town? If you do, it's a place to really find some hidden treasures. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. 2-pack, Luke Cage and Claire Temple. Can you see that? So this was interesting. Claire Temple comes with tiger claws. And if you'll remember, I think it was in Defenders. She grabbed them off the wall, or maybe it was Luke Cage season 2. I forget. But there's a piece of promotional artwork here that shows her with them. And what is interesting about this is there were rumors that they were going to make Claire Temple White Tiger. And this promotional artwork seems to indicate, and this figure seems to indicate that was the plan. I never saw this in big box retail. Found it at Ollie's for $5. How cool is that? I love it. So, hey guys, post your comments down below and let me know what you think. Hey, we got a sponsor of the show. I need to run this commercial. And we are sponsored by the League of Impossibilists. Here you go. How cool is that? Check out more at patreon.com/impossibilists. You can read our weekly webcomic there. We've been kind of on hold the last couple of weeks because I was like almost killed by COVID. But I'm back to working on it, and installment number 15 will drop this week. I know I said that on our pilot, but it's true this week. So check that out at patreon.com. Now, if you're interested, I show the things that I've discovered this week at shops and whatnot, and we'll start visiting some of those shops, doing spotlights on comic shops and magic shops around the country. We'll go live there throughout the next couple of months, and especially into 2021. But if you have a product or a project that you want to promote, or a product that you want me to review, a comic, a game, excuse me, guys, COVID cough. For those of you who don't know, I did have COVID-19, and it's been 6, maybe 7 weeks ago, and it's still leaving some residual problems, mostly a cough. But so if you have a product or a project that you want to have me review, you can contact me. Let me put up my email address right here at johnpica@johnpica.com, and we'll talk about how to do that. All right, so I'm going to put this back up. If you'd like to join me on air as a surprise guest host, here's the address. You can join me here on camera. But we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite Avengers. And these are not going to be the big marquee Avengers. And some of them actually, there were some characters that just barely didn't make the top 5 list. They're definitely in the top 10. Like Hank Pym, I struggled with this. I wanted him to be on the top 5, but he just, the way they've done the character here recently just dropped him off. So these 5 characters may seem like an odd assemblage, but these are my favorite Avengers. First, Mockingbird. She first appeared in Marvel Team Up. What is that, number 95, I think? That's what it looks like to me. Bobby Morse, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., brilliant biologist, Olympic-level athlete, super spy, and this is kind of how she's evolved over the years. When we first met her in Marvel Team Up, she had this outfit, and that's what she wore when she got married to Hawkeye in his limited series. Then in the middle, it's the West Coast Avengers outfit, and over to the far right is one of her latest iterations. I love her because she is, kind of on par as a biologist with Hank Pym. So she's kind of Hank Pym and Black Widow rolled into one with a dash of Captain America. And I say that because, or Captain America and the Falcon, because in the new Avengers under Brian Michael Bendis, Bobby was injured severely. And she was given a cocktail of the super soldier serum and the Infinity Formula, which is what keeps Nick Fury young. So she basically became an immortal super soldier. And the writers at Marvel haven't really, in my opinion, they haven't done justice to that storyline yet. And I really hope that it gets picked back up and in some of the other books that they explore Mockingbird. She's been given a pair of wings by Peter Parker that are very much like the Falcons. So, she flies. She's a master hand-to-hand combatant. She's got the skills, speed, strength of Captain America, and she's a brilliant geneticist. Number 2, and actually these are in no particular order, is Hercules. Hercules. I've even got Mockingbird and Hercules figures on my bookshelf behind me. And actually, I think all of these characters I've got the figures for. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I should maybe pull them down. Hercules is a character who I really feel like has a lot of missed potential, but in the latest series that they did, his solo series, they really, really did a great job on his character development. They updated his design with a more modern, but still honoring the warrior spirit of him. They've got a new mace for him, this great big broadsword. And this is the Marvel Legends figure, but it's an accurate translation from the comic series, the comic version. And there's always been something about Hercules that I have just always loved. And so I've got all of his miniseries, his his solo series when he replaced the Hulk, and more recently his solo series where they really changed up his character and made him, more self-aware of his shortcomings in the past. He's got level 100 strength, which means he's as strong as the Hulk and Thor. He's immortal, and a brilliant hand-to-hand combatant and strategic leader. All right, so we talked about him a moment ago. Moon Knight. I love this guy. Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Jake. Why is his other identity? He's basically got 4 personalities, 4 identities, and Moon Knight is just one of the 4. And depending on how you read his series, especially the series that was kicked off by Warren Ellis and then extrapolated on by I hate that I can't remember his name because he did such a great job of writing the psychological aspects of Moon Knight. This is going to come back. If you guys can think of the writer who finished up his series, post it. I hate that I can't remember it, but Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu. And I first became exposed to Moon Knight in a Marvel team-up issue where Moon Knight teamed up with Spider-Man, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Power Man to fight the Purple Man, and just loved it. Loved it. A lot of people say he's just Marvel's version of Batman. He's so much more complex than Batman. He's got, depending on how you read him, he's got the powers of the god of the night, the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu. And very cool character. And those three, Mockingbird, Hercules, and Moon Knight together would be an impressive team. Now, if I were building a team with those three, I would add Hellcat and Dr. Voodoo, maybe Iron Fist to round it out to 6 as kind of an ideal super team. But I need to talk about another favorite in my top 5. And look, these 5 would make an awesome team, especially with Hercules and She-Hulk. We know for a fact in She-Hulk solo series that Dan Slott wrote that She-Hulk and Hercules had a tryst. So there's that. Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. I've just always loved her. And when Roger Stern made her an Avenger in the 80s, it was just, I fell in love with her. And he explored the relationship between her and Hawkeye. She and Captain America would go on missions together quite a bit. They worked super well together. And I'm pretty sure that Steve and Jennifer probably hooked up on more than one occasion. People don't talk about this, but Steve kind of gets around. I'm pretty sure he's had affairs with Natasha, the Black Widow, the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, Janet Van Dyne for sure, and Cersei. And I'm positive She-Hulk is one of his girlfriends as well. But I just love everything about her. Her personality, her attitude, her glamour, the way John Byrne wrote her in Sensational She-Hulk. She's the ultimate team player. She's great on teams. She was in the Fantastic Four, in the Avengers. She's currently a member of the active roster of Avengers, and apparently they've done something to bring Jennifer Walters' personality back. But of course, like so much of Jason Aaron's writing on the Avengers, we don't see any of that in the issue. They talk about it, but it happens off panel. It drives me crazy. And then my all-time favorite Avenger. It's not who you think. You might think it's Captain America. I love Captain America. Maybe Captain America is probably my all-time favorite Marvel character. That's why there's so much Captain America stuff in my office. But actually, my all-time favorite Avenger character is Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Photon, Pulsar, Spectrum, whatever they're calling her today. I just call her now Monica Rambeau. But for me, she was my Captain Marvel. And, she was African-American woman, super overpowered, to be honest with you. They wrote her out of the Avengers because they had a hard time finding foes that, were a challenge for her. Because this Captain Marvel controls all of the energy, not just controls, but can become any energy in the electromagnetic spectrum, from gamma rays to X-rays to visible light. She can even control other energies on the fringes of the electromagnetic spectrum, like magnetism. She's gone toe to toe with Magneto, and controlled or negated his powers. So she's a brilliant leader. She was leader of the Avengers for a short time. Then she was the leader of Agents of Hate. And then she was kind of co-leader with Luke Cage of the Mighty Avengers. And now she's part of Blade's Strike Force, which is kind of an odd place for her to be. I'm ready for her to come back to the pages of the Avengers. And what Jason Aaron's is writing is a perfect fit for her. She would fit right in with the current Avengers roster and current storylines. So that's it, guys. My top 5 favorite Avengers. And this changes from time to time, but Mockingbird, Hercules, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. I would love to know who your favorite Avengers are. So comment down below and let me know. We got a few viewers. Post a comment. Let me know who you are. It doesn't show me up here who's watching, just that you are. And I would love to interact with you. This is an interactive show, so post your comments and we'll chat back and forth. If you want to be on the broadcast, right here's the address. You can type that in and join me live on air. How cool is that? All right, so viewer comments, leave some comments. Otherwise, this is a really short show. Don't forget, tip your host, PayPal at johnnydelarocca@yahoo.com. Sorry, guys. Hate that I got that cough hanging on. I guess I'll share with you guys. So COVID has completely reordered my priorities. I came close, and I'm still dealing with after effects. I've got blood clots in my lungs, still having trouble breathing, sometimes getting dizzy, having vertigo. And this is 7 weeks later, and I'm on medication for it, blood thinners and, steroids and the whole 9 yards. But, I was in bed for 15 days and then developed blood clots that could have killed me. And, after spending a weekend in the hospital, I really reordered a lot of my priorities. I thought about my 30-year career as an entertainer, magician, singer, actor, storyteller, and how much I've missed with friends and family. Because I'm always doing a show. I've always got a rehearsal to go to. I've always got a trip to go on. And, I just kind of came to this place where I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. I don't care if I ever get in front of an audience right now. That may change down the road, but right now, all I want to do is travel, eat good food, spend time with friends, play games, watch cartoons, do podcasts as a creative outlet, but I have no desire to perform on stage ever again. And I'm still doing ghost tours, but not for much longer. Once I get some new tour guides trained, I'm going to step back. I just don't have that desire anymore. And for some of you, that's a real shock, because being on stage was like a drug for me. It was, my purpose to bring joy to audiences, to make people laugh, cry, and sit at the edge of their seats. And I just don't have that desire anymore. So you'll see a lot less of me live. I was supposed to be at a comic book convention today. I may go, I may not. I'm not going to set up. I'm not going to be vending all day. I normally was. But I don't want to do it. I've been dealing with vertigo this week. So I'd rather stay at home, watch Animaniacs with the kids, and just kind of take it easy today. I have a tour tonight that I'm supervising, a new tour guide. Hopefully I can cut her loose. And I just have no desire to perform live anymore. Not magic, not music. I have no desire to be on stage. And that's what a near-death experience, I guess, does. It kind of reorders your priorities. So anyway, I've got upcoming projects. Still, I'm working on the Impossibilists at patreon.com/Impossibilists. We'll run that commercial again before we leave because I'm proud of it. And Tales of the Decoverse, my book series, that's coming out hopefully next month, my birthday month, December 1st. And you can catch those. And of course, this podcast and the Diesel Punk podcast, I'm going to continue to do that. But, just really focusing on writing art and digital broadcasting. So anyway, we don't have any viewer comments. We've had a few viewers, but no comments. And that's okay. It's early Saturday morning. I'd love to know what you guys thought about Mandalorian Chapter 12 or what you think about the series in general. I will say that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are doing an amazing job. The show is so Star Wars it hurts. Chapter 12 had, a speeder bike race in it. Nothing gets more Star Wars than speeder bike races. And I really feel like they're making their vision of what fans wanted in the sequel trilogy. So, a lot of fans might be regarding The Mandalorian as the Star Wars sequels. I kind of am. So anyway, well, guys and gals, since we don't have any comments, I'm going to go ahead and call it at 8:45. Again, if you want your product or project to be reviewed, if you want me to talk about your comic series or your game or their toys that you think are cool or movies that you think I should see, other TV shows. Last week on the pilot, we talked about Queen's Gambit. Send me an email. Let me know if you got a product that you want to advertise. I'd love to talk to you about that. Speaking of advertisement, we do have a sponsor. Our sponsor this week is the League of Impossibilists. All right, guys and gals, that is it for this episode of Back of the Cereal Box. Thanks for joining me and sharing a big bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Tune in next week for your dose of weekly geek pop culture. And remember, this show is better when you interact. So make sure you post comments and share this with your friends on YouTube or Facebook. And tell people to come join the fun. So I'm going to sign out, and until the next time, we'll catch you on the flip side. You're welcome.